Hey, yo, what's going on, everyone? It is finally Iron Bowl week. Alabama versus Auburn, one of the greatest college football rivalries around. If I can say that 3 times fast. Rivalry. We're going head to head.
Let's go now. Oh, nah, nah, oh. Let's go now. Oh. Can't stop us. Oh. Let's go now. Oh.
And a big thank you to our sponsor, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. And a big thank you to Cole Cubelic. He's with WJOX, three-man front, as well as SEC Network and ESPN. And Cole, you played in the Iron Bowl a time or two. You know what that Iron Bowl is all about. Just give us the lay of the land when this game comes up, when you're getting prepped for this week. I know the coaches always try to keep it even keel every week. It's the same. You go out, you compete the same. You bring that level of intensity, but you got to be honest, right? This week is a little bit different.
It absolutely is, and it's impossible for it not to be because of the amount of distractions that come with it. There's more media attention. There are more family members, more friends that want tickets to the game, are going to be at the game, are going to be around the game, want to know what you're doing after the game. And I'll be honest, with these players right now, you have to think that Thanksgiving only complicates that a little bit more. I know Coach Saban's like guys who live close to campus, maybe go home for the day or the evening and be back on campus later that night. Same thing with Gus Malzahn. And then you're trying to figure out where you're going to be for Thanksgiving, different things like that as far as how you're going to handle it with the team. So I think that only makes it even a little bit more complicated and offers one other distraction that you're going to be having to deal with. But it's just a game that has a different intensity.
All right, Cole. So when you look at the offensive side of the football for this Auburn team, and you see the different guys that they have, the different position groups, obviously Bo Nix being the quarterback, you've got some star receivers, and then you've got a guy like Tank Bigsby. And like I said, he may or may not be available in this football game. But with that being said, what do you think the biggest challenge, or what does Auburn have to do really well offensively, and what is the biggest challenge that Alabama will have on the defensive side of football in going up against this Auburn team, and where can they have success?
I think a big portion of that is, are you looking at Tank Bigsby being healthy and being available? Can he go 20, 25, 30 carries in this game? Let's face it, it's 1A, 1B as to importance of availability for this Auburn offense, and really and truly Auburn team, being Tank Bigsby and Seth Williams. Those are the two guys that if you remove them, either or both, my opinion of Auburn changes drastically. Tank Bigsby may be a little bit easier to offset because you have a quarterback with some mobility, you have DJ Williams, you have Sean Shivers. So yeah, you have a few other guys that can do some of the things that he can do, not all of the things. There's not another receiver that can do the things that Seth Williams can do. Anthony Schwartz is great, and he forces defenses to play you in a different way. And there are a lot of defensive coordinators that will tell you, we locate number one first on that offense, no matter what play it is, what matter down and distance it is, no matter what formation it is or personnel grouping. We have to know where he is because we don't really have an answer for him. But I think Seth Williams is that guy more consistently, because even if you body him up, he can still grab a catch for 20 yards or 60 yards. We saw what he did at the end of the Ole Miss game. We saw what he did against Kentucky earlier this year, basically taking over those games and finding ways to make plays in those games that would go on and win the football game for Auburn in spots where they had to have it. He had to have it wide receiver. You give him a ball that's anywhere close to catchable, a lot of times he's going to go get it. But to have consistent success on the ground, especially with the O-line being beat up, you have to have Tank Bigsby be a part of that football team. He's too different. He's too elusive. He runs too hard. He breaks too many tackles. He's a guy that can make the offensive line right when they're wrong. He can make the wrong play call right against the right defensive call. So to have him in the lineup is critical for Auburn's success if they're going to have a way to be competitive, much less beat Alabama.
Okay, Cole, so key matchup for this Auburn defense is, in my opinion, I'm obviously looking at what these receivers do, the explosiveness that these Alabama receivers have, the weapons that they have to be able to spread it out all over the field. How good is this Auburn secondary going to be against this Alabama team on Saturday? That is the biggest question for me in a matchup I'm looking at. What about you?
only as good as the front seven allows them to be. And I mean that in multiple ways. Slowing down the rushing attack that could give Alabama options in the play action or RPO game is going to be critical. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but Steve Sarkisian is more of a play action offensive coordinator than an RPO offensive coordinator. Now, it's not to say that he can't run RPOs or that he doesn't, because he still does, but it's one reason that he strives for balance. And it's one reason that the run game is so important to him, is that more of Alabama's explosive plays this year have come via play action, as opposed to in previous years under Tua, where the majority came via RPO. Second would be finding ways to pressure Mac Jones. If Auburn has to add extra bodies to their pressure packages, then that's going to force you into one-on-ones, and you don't want to live there against these Alabama receivers. Slade Bolden being beat up could potentially hurt that some. I would just anticipate more two-back and more multiple tight end sets from the offense that Alabama puts on the field. I think Steve Sarkisian's fine with that. He told me last week he's going to do more of that down the road anyway. And if he has to go multiple tight ends or multiple backs, I think he looks at that as a way to create more space for his playmakers on the outside, and it can help add protection. I don't really view Auburn's defense as one that Kevin Steele has a ton of confidence in. Too many guys in man coverage. They're playing a lot more zone this year. The one thing that I would say I don't want to see, and I hope I don't see, are single safety looks. And Auburn's played a little bit more of that here down the stretch. This is not the team that you want to play single safety against. They will make you pay, and they will make it look bad if you have to get to that. And I think that's the only reason Kevin would get to that, is if he felt like he had to. I don't think that he feels that's advantageous for his team, or he wants to start out in that. But if he has to get to it because of either assisting against the run or adding pressure, that could be a doomsday scenario for the Auburn defense.
All right, so is it going to be doomsday for the Auburn Tigers or not? We're going with our predictions, and I'll go first. And I know last week you kind of scoffed at me at my prediction. I don't even remember exactly what it was, but I did have Auburn scoring quite a few points. This week, I am going to go Alabama 45, Auburn 30. And remember last year, Cole, it was you and Mike McCoy. I chose not to make a prediction, but this year I made a prediction. So you should at least be proud of me. It may not be a good prediction, but I got 45-30 on Alabama.
You brought up last year. Are you gonna bring up the fact that I picked Auburn last year when almost nobody, I don't remember anybody else picking Auburn? Everybody who comments on these and says that I pick Auburn's opponent every week, all you nerds out there that are doing that each and every week, I don't get any credit for that. You and your fatigue, you look like you're ready to go to battle here in your Army fatigue. So we're making picks.
You like that?
I'm going to the smelling salts here. See that? See right there? Look at that.
Oh.
Crack it open. There it is. I got to get ready for this pick. This is a big one. It's intense. It obviously means a lot. I have to try to pump myself up to make the pick, and I got to get excited, and I got to get ready. And I tell you, I might have been a little bit too much on that last one. Oh, yeah. All right. We're ready
The anticipation just got me, Cole.
We're ready. 48-14, Alabama will defeat Auburn.
Woo! Wow, the anticipation. I like it. Way to go, Cole.
At Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama, we cover what matters.
It's guaranteed that I die legend. Yeah, son God, homie, I'm reverend. Preach, just protecting my investment. Ask about me, integrity's not a question. Straight up, all the way up with the same ones that was